Last Tuesday, Sunrise Chess DM'd me wanting to collaborate. Me seeing 877 chess books on their website said, send me 30? To my surprise, they said, yeah, let's go. So that night, I proceeded to scour their website and found 30 chess books for advanced chess players. I put all these books in my cart and it summed up to 952 euros, which is equivalent to 1,020 US dollars for 30 chess books. If you can guess 5 of the 30 books that I will be giving away to you in the comments down below, I will be sending you one of the 5 books of your liking to your address for free. The other 4 books will be given away, one to my Instagram story, a random watcher of my story and follower of my Instagram, and 3 more to people who send me their proof of purchase from the website and send me an email with the certificate so that I can enter you into a raffle and send you one of the 3 books that I'll be giving away. The holiday season is coming up, so if you want to buy chess books or any chess equipment for you or someone else, make sure to use ChessNerd at checkout for a 10% discount. From the selection on the website, this is my recommended top 30 books for advanced chess players. Here we go. Box number 1. Book number 1 of the 30. This is actually 3 books. It's a series of books by former number 2 chess player in the world, Artur Yusupov. So one thing that I did when selecting these books, either they're a book that's a masterpiece that's already well known, or the author is an absolute masterpiece and they're just underrated. For me, this series is quite actually underrated by Artur Yusupov, who was formerly number 2 in the world, one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and he has 3 series of 3 books for every series. This is the final series, the Mastery series of Build Up Your Chess, Boost Your Chess, and let me find the 3rd one. Boom. Chess Evolution, which I think is the hardest book of the 9-book series. So W. This listed on the website counts as 1 for 76 euros. This box is already quite light. We have 1 book left, I believe. And it is a short book, King's Kalashnikov Sicilian, which is a chessable course that they put into a hardcover book. Very, very nice. This course has extremely good reviews. It's just an underplayed opening in the Sicilian. Maybe one day I'll surprise my opponents at a chess tournament with this. Lovely. This next one is an absolute classic. I can't believe I now own it. It's 45 techniques of positional play. Cameraman, zoom in on that. I personally own the Chessable course by Peter Heine Nelson about this book. And I can tell you by going through 85% of that course that it's an absolute masterpiece. And some chapters include restricting the enemy pieces, creating breathing space for your pieces, the clash between pawn formations, the rook pawn and underrated fighter, techniques in the fight for an open file, and it goes on and on and on. Positional play for advanced players, this is the one. Oh, we're in the second box, by the way. Oh! Box 2 out of 3. I picked an absolute masterpiece. 100 Endgames You Must Know by Jesus de la Villa. This should be your second endgame book. Your first endgame book should maybe be Jeremy Silman's endgame book. This should be your second endgame book. It was mine, and I don't regret it. It's amazing for endgames. This covers all of the bases in endgames that you should know from start to finish. And it will just like make you not uncomfortable, not unconfident in the endgame, which is such a game changer. And now comes an absolute beauty. Endgame strategy. I've heard sensational things from my IM friend, Kostya Kavutsky. He said this is the greatest endgame book of all time. This is only one of 3 endgame books that I chose. So obviously 100 endgames, this one, and I think one other one only. And he said this one covers all the bases. So this one is also an excellent, excellent endgame book. I'm so excited to open this up. Book number 8 or 7 or 6, 7. Eee! Look how big this is. Yo, 100 endgame patterns you must know by Jesus de la Villa again, but This time, it's the sequel, and it's only patterns. So there are certain patterns you should know in the endgame, 100 of them. And once you know them, you'll be a terrific chess player. So I'm very, very excited to open this up. 463 pages. This is a huge book. So definitely gonna be on the waiting list for now. Discouraging. Oh, this is probably top 5 of the books I'm most looking forward to. This is the biographical book that I wanted, and is the most exciting book of the ones that I chose. I'm just gonna be honest. Bent Larsen's Best Games by Bent Larsen. Insanity. Bent Larsen is like, he didn't become world champion, but he's the best Scandinavian player probably of all time. And he had such a style about him, such an elegance, such a creativity, and he annotated his own games in this book. So this, fantastic. 10 out of 10. I'm so excited about that one. Okay, next up is one of a 2-series book. So they did one book. It was so successful, they did another book. And so this is relevant to openings and middle games. So the first one, the complete manual of positional chess. There you have it. It's from the Russian School of Chess, which I find very interesting. As a branding, you know, Russian School of Chess is always more exciting, and it carries a good brand to it. And then we have middle games and structures and dynamics in the second volume that they made. Konstantin and Konstantin, the 2 authors of these 2 beautiful, beautiful books. Insanity. So we're at book number 12. And this is a book by none other than the ex-second best player in the world back in the 1990s, none other than Jan Timman, whom I'm in his country right now. He is a Dutch chess player who is basically the best Dutch player of all time, presenting his 100 best games in this book from New in Chess. Absolutely beautiful. This goes directly into my collection, and I love these books, biographical books, because you kind of dive into it. You go into a game on a Sunday, get some coffee out, get out on the terrace, read a book of this, play out the game, see the instruction, and get better at chess. Next book is also one of a 2-part series, and I really was interested by this because he is a world-class player. So we haven't had current world-class players author that many books, but this is the case for Sam Shankland, who made a book on pawn play in chess, and he called it Small Steps to Giant Improvement, the Pawns. So fantastic book. I haven't heard much about it. It came out, I think, in 2022. I'm very excited to look at this. I want to actually read out the chapters for you guys. Pawns can't move backwards, chapter 1. Compelling enemy pawns forward. Pawns seldom move sideways.
One eternity later.
Sam Shankland is like currently top 50 in the world. An author by a top 50 player is crazy. Crazy book. Fantastic. Next, Calculation. Part of Jacob Agad's Crown series of 6 chess books. This is book maybe number 3, Calculation, ACP Book of the Year. It's just so well known, so good, and it's basically you're slaving away for tons and tons of exercises, practicing your calculation, on and on and on. And I need a calculation book because I'm about to finish Sam Shankland's calculation book, so this is nicely placed on the reserve list. Calculation by Jacob Agad. Next up, Street Smart Chess by Axel Smith. It takes the approach of psychology in chess to a whole nother level. Let me read out some chapters. Beating higher rated opponents, Bhaskaran Adiban. Beating lower rated opponents, David Navarro's advice. David Navarro is a 2700, top GM. Water into wine, so how to squeeze your opponent, Magnus Carlsen. And he will go through the games of these players from this philosophy. If you want to force yourself to play for a win, take the philosophy of Aryan Tari. So this, a nice little book on psychology and how to approach a game in the beforehand of the game and not once you're there. And now we have an absolute masterpiece that has won so many awards. It's hard to like categorize This is arguably the best book that this author will ever make. Revered by so many top players, so many strong players. Positional decision making by Boris Gelfand, who was, I think at his peak, 5th, 4th, maybe 3rd in the world in the 2000s. I know what you're thinking. Zach, are you becoming a positional player? You got 4 positional books. What's going on? I have to get better at my weaknesses. And so I hope this is a good strive to get better. We do have tactics books. I just want to make that clear. They're coming, they're coming. Box number 3. Oh my God, this is actually heavy. Wow, that was actually crazy. Oh my God, my lower back is exploded. Book number 617, Boost Your Chess Beyond the Basics. I went to get a lesser advanced book in the series of Artur Yusupov. So this is the second hardest book. The Orange Collection, I believe, is the easiest book, but this is the second book of the second series. Boost Your Chess, Attacking the King, The Open File, Minor Tactics, Opening Repertoire for White, The French Defense, Simple Rook Endings. So he just gives just beautiful notes. And Artur Yusupov, just an absolute legend of the game. Now we get into some spicy stuff. I'm very happy about this one. I had to choose between many, and I finally chose this one, which is Soviet Middle Game Technique. So Peter Romanowski was a very strong chess player in his prime, I think in the 80s and 90s. And he wrote this book, Soviet Middle Game Technique. Isn't that the best title you have ever seen and heard in your life? Fantastic. And it's pretty sizable of a book. It's like 400 pages. Let me read out some of the chapters for you. Insane. Oh, just beautiful. What is a combination? The elements of combination. On the theory of combination. Double attack. Positional weaknesses. How players think during the game is the final chapter. Spicy book. Insane. Just so good. So if you want to increase your middle game, and this is the sequel to the prequel that I do not own, actually. Chess Praxis. It's a very, very thin book by Aaron Nimzovich, the godfather of positional chess, pretty much. Nimzovich was a top player, maybe top 5 player in the 1920s and a bit in the 30s. This is the second book, Chess Praxis, a little bit higher level, so this is for advanced players. And it's a very thin book, so if you don't have a lot of time in chess, you just read this, browse through it, and you're good to go. So I love that. This next book is by a top author about the toppest player in the world. And I didn't know about it before scouring their website. So I made a discovery of this book and it went straight to my cart. Magnus Carlsen's Middle Game Evolution. So how Magnus Carlsen had an evolution with his middle game as he grew into the top chess player of all time by Ivan Sokolov, who was like top 10, top 5 in the 90s. Super strong player. I think he achieved 2700 rating too, which only a handful of people in the history of the world have done that. And there you go. Bilboa 2007, Chennai 2013, Stavanger 2020. How his middle game evolutioned. Oh my God. Prophylaxis, hanging pawns in the center, pawn majority, minor sacrifice. There's also another book I wanted to get of his that was out of stock. And it was Sacrifice and Initiative, shout out, because I'm gonna get that one the second I get home. Just an amazing title for a chess book, Sacrifice and Initiative. I need that book. So aura, such an aura title. Next one was recommended by my IM friend, Under the Surface. So what goes on beneath, the actual moves of the game? I think it's a very interesting philosophy in chess about decision-making, how you should understand computers, and the beauty in chess. Those are the big parts of this fantastic book. It has won awards. It's a very, very nice book by Jan Marcos, who is now a very popular author because of this. ECF Book of the Year is a very prestigious award in the chess book community. ECF is the English Chess Federation, and they nominate one book per year. So if you win it, you're a pretty big deal. Next one is also by Axel Smith. You guys are gonna call me an Axel Smith fanboy. I do have a signed copy of his Woodpecker Method 2, just between us, that just got released like a month ago. But here you go. Pump Your Rating by Axel Smith as well. And this is the synopsis, basically. Any man in the street knows how to increase his physical strength. But among most chess players, confusion reigns when it comes to improving their playing strength. Axel Smith's training methods have guided his friends, teammates, and pupils to grandmaster norms and titles. Hard work will be required, but Axel Smith knows how to pump your rating. It speaks for itself, the number of people who have gone through this and literally have pumped their rating up. And the next one is a sequel to the first book that I just presented, Small Steps to Success, by Sam Shanklin again. But this is his second book this time, and it's Mastering Passed Pawn Play, which I don't think I've ever seen a book on this topic. You have a passed pawn. How to consolidate it, how to make it more dangerous, how to use it in a form of an attack. I'm very excited about these Sam Shanklin books. He doesn't write that often, and I think just chess books from the top level are super scarce in general. So absolute quality right here. Very excited to dive into this. Overall, I think my pawn play and my positional play is gonna be a little bit out of this world after reading these. Next we have an absolute beast. If you know, you know. If you don't know, let me put you on. This was in my intermediate book recommendation. It's in my advanced book recommendation, The Woodpecker Method, hardcover by Axel Smith. An absolute beautiful book. He did it with Hans Tikkanen as well. And this book is all about repetition. This book literally is about doing this book 7 times, so once and then 6 more times, and using the pattern recognition that you got from the exercises the first time, use that the second time around. The Woodpecker Method. And the next one is a hardcover as well. And the second book I ordered from the Grandmaster Preparation series because I already have 2 other books, Strategic Play, and I have this one, which I highly recommend too, by Jacob Agad, part of this series. But this is Attack and Defense. The style of these books is very unique, so let me bring you towards it, because the title can be instructive, but if it's not for you, it's not for you, and if it's definitely for you, it's definitely for you. This is about doing hard puzzles and solving them through your pains. So he gives you puzzles, and then in the solutions, you learn a ton. But you have to work hard on the puzzles to then get the solutions, and if you fail, you get such a great answer, and if you get it right, you worked your bum off for the right answer. So there you go, Attack and Defense. And the next one is simply beautiful. Hardback, or hardcover. Judith Polgar has a 3-book series, and this is book number 1 of the 3-book series, How I Beat Fischer's Record. These are high-level books by one of the greatest chess players of all time, the greatest female chess player of all time by far. And this is book number 1. She literally beat Fischer's record of the youngest grandmaster ever. At the age of 15, she beat his record by like a month and became a grandmaster, which was unheard of at the time at all, and was unheard of for women's chess. So she contributed to such good growth for women's chess, and is continuing to do so with inspiration throughout the world. Huge shout out to Judith Polgar. And this is the tactics book I was so excited to present 5 or 10 minutes ago. Advanced Chess Tactics. Apparently this book is like for 2200 plus. FIDE. It's really advanced chess tactics, and it's by Lev Sakis, who's a very, very strong grandmaster, and he wants to kill me, apparently. He has a death wish on anybody who reads this, because it's an absolute huge book, and they're all super tough tactics to make you sweat and dehydrated. What an absolute legend. So this is a book I'm really looking forward to, because it's unlike all of the 30 here. It's just a straight up tactics book. Nothing else in between. Diving in to the prequel to the sequel, My System by Aaron Nimzovich, one of the greatest and one of the most important books of all time. He invented one of the most important concepts in all of chess, which is prophylaxis, to prevent your opponent's threat by making a move that conceals it, and a good move for yourself. My System, you have a lot of prophylaxis, and it's just a general book on strategy and positional chess. As I said, he is the grandfather, straight into the top 5. Positional Chess Sacrifices by Mihai Suba. Mihai Suba is a prominent author in and of itself, but this Positional Chess Sacrifices is a very endearing title, very intriguing to me. Is basically how to bully your opponent into submitting all of their pieces as actions on the chessboard. I have Mastering Positional Sacrifices by Murjen van Delft, which I have 75% finished, and this is on the waiting list right after I finished that one. Beautiful book by Mihai Suba, and I believe this is the final book of our collection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
One eternity later.
This is book number 2 of a 3-book series that I own. Judith Polgar, From GM to Top 10. Very high level book on how a chess player thinks. What she does so well compared to other top players writing their own books is that she dives into her feelings. Well, okay, men don't really, I mean, I read a Kasparov book the other day, it's right there, and he doesn't dive into his feelings. Like he's just saying lines, you know? But she's saying how she felt, the decision making she was doing, how she was approaching a position, how her move was influenced by how she thought of the board, how she calculated. So that's why I really, really love this series of books. I think it's super underrated because largely so, especially the 3rd book, A Game of Queens, to me was branded towards women, where it's not at all a women's thing. It's like an all chess players thing. It's so strong chess. And it's basically her best games. And she drives you through what her critical choices are during a game. I mean, we're talking about a very aggressive, very strong player, and arguably the greatest athlete, female athlete of all time, top 8 in 2004, peak rating of 2735, fantastic, and we end it there. There are some other books that the online shop has to offer that I already owned. These I already owned, and believe me, if they've stuck with me on my European trip all this time and they're going to me to new countries, they're very valuable and very good books. Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual. This is for every candidate master or beyond. If you're titled and you're looking for an endgame book, this is the one to suffer in. Next is like one of the best kept secrets. If you ever need anything against the Open Sicilian, if you play the Open Sicilian and you main it, which is me, I've mained the Open Sicilian my entire life. The Open Sicilian by Ivan Saric. It's a chessable course, but it's also a beautiful, big chess book. And finally, Master Your Chess by Judith Polgar. She runs you through like literally everything in chess to be able to win, and she puts it into games. This was also a chessable course that was turned into a chess book, pardon, and a fantastic book. So yeah, I leave you today. Huge unboxing. Comment down below, which 5 books do you think I am giving away? And for those who know my channel and have been watching me for a long time, you know at least 3 of the books that I will be giving away for free, but I'll be giving away 5 of them. So I'll keep you posted on who are the winners. And thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like on this video and stay subscribed for more chess book recommendations in the future. Have an amazing day. Now, I have done 2 books for you for intermediate level players and beginners. They'll be up here.